Podcast. 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 Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Racer X Exhaust Podcast. Too bad the logo was on the screen while I was singing the theme song live. Just technical glitches. Just couldn't get the camera to work when the song was being sung. Special episode today of the show. We're catching up with Austin Forkner. Haven't seen or heard much from Austin. He is back in outdoor testing and training mode, but he went out of Supercross at round 3 in Houston, and we'll catch up with him. We'll talk about the collarbone injury and the crash, but more importantly, I want to talk about the persona and the aura of Austin Forkner, who is a definite love or hate guy. There are some people in the sport that are not fans of Forkner, and then obviously when you have some hate, then there are going to be some people that love, and I'll ask Forkner about that amongst many other topics. Will we see him back in Supercross this year? How will they do when he comes back for the full outdoor season for the first time after missing 2019 and 2020? We'll see. Just want to give shout outs to our sponsors. Of course, Yoshimura. They've been backing this exhaust podcast since day one. Go to yoshimura-rd.com and check out the RS12 exhaust system. They've got it for a wide variety of bikes, be it Yamahas or Hondas or Suzukis. Originally developed with Suzuki and Honda because they do have great affiliations with their factory and factory support teams, but you can also get it for the KX450F, big power gains there. Go to yoshimura-rd.com. And if you have a Grom, a Honda Grom, the little 125 street legal bike that is so slow, you're not even allowed to ride it on the interstate, and you feel that you need it to be a little faster, Yoshimura exhaust system for that gives big power gains. And the new Grom that has just come out, just been revealed, has been revised. A little more compression for more power and a 5-speed transmission. Combine those two things with a Yosh exhaust, you have yourself one heck of a fun little motorcycle. And as always, our podcast also brought to you by MX Tech Suspension. We've talked for years about the Lucky Fork, dual cartridges, dual springs, Huck valves, lightweight, but also great performance. They also got the National Shock. This is essentially a work shock that you can buy. You can get it set up for you. Nothing but top-of-the-line components. So go to mx-tech.com and check out the Lucky Fork and the National Shock. Same thing being used by a lot of the top privateers in the sport, like the resurgent Cade Clayson, who has become a main event guy nearly every week in Supercross after not making any last year. That's how much better he is and his bike is. So check out what Cade is using to get into the main events with mx-tech.com. And a new sponsor on board here, just starting today, that is Just Live, and they produce CBD products. Now, you've heard a lot about CBD. There's a lot of different CBD brands out there, but here's what is interesting about this. This is actually founded by athletes, none other than Travis Pastrana, one of the founders of this. Do you think Travis probably deals with some aches and pains throughout his days? If Just Live works for him, it'd probably work for you. A couple other great athletes, Olympic athletes involved as well. But my favorite part is a discount. We will give you 30% off. Just type in Racer X, no capitals, no spaces, just Racer X, RACERX, lowercase, at checkout, and get 30% off of Just Live's CBD products. Now on to our show. Let's bring in Austin Forkner and talk to him about his lost 2021 Supercross season and his soon-to-be return to action. Well, hey, Austin, thanks for joining us. First of all, I guess you're riding a dirt bike. I've seen some pictures, seen some Instagram. You're at least riding and heeled up. So what's the status there? That's the most important part.
Yeah, no, I've been riding. I've been back for probably at least a month now, maybe a little over. Just riding outdoors, setting the bike up for outdoors. That's pretty much it. Just busting out motos, and working on the bike. We had a better idea kind of what to do, coming from setting the bike up, like for Supercross, like, so just like the balance of the bike and what exactly to do, even though you set them up completely different, we had a better idea. So it's been a little easier, just cause the first time setting up a brand new bike, you kind of don't even know where to start. So it took a little bit in the Supercross, but we've got a better kind of handle on it now going into outdoors. So just been doing that, been riding and doing my thing.
Yeah, it's really weird though. You haven't done outdoors. You didn't race the last 2 seasons. Did you do any outdoor riding? Were you even like attempting, I guess maybe last year you did some testing, probably?
Yeah, I've been I rode outdoors actually a lot last year. I was hoping I would be able to come back for some of the last races of outdoors. Like I got like fully ready for outdoors at the end of last year, and then it didn't work out with the team or whatever. So but I was like getting ready for outdoors last year. Kind of like I actually came back from my stomach thing pretty quick, so I actually rode quite a bit. But yeah, no, I was like, I haven't ridden out, like raced outdoors in like, I think 2 full years now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just ready to race, honestly. Like, I mean, obviously like I want to do well, but kind of just going in, not like a lot of just want to go race, you know?
Yeah, because it's so weird. So I would say, hey, is it all coming back? But I guess this testing part, you've actually have done that the last 2 years. This isn't the weird part. It'll be the riding part or the racing part.
Yeah,
That'll be
yeah,
weird.
yeah. The racing part more than anything, because I've ridden outdoors, pretty much because any injury I've came back from, like I always start riding like
Right.
outdoors. So I've ridden quite a bit of outdoors actually, over the past, just not raced it. I've ridden it, just haven't
Hmm.
raced it. You know, because like anytime I'm fresh off of an injury or something, it's gonna be straight to outdoors first,
Right.
and then even last year, wasn't a huge rush to get back into riding Supercross. So just or like, you know, at the end of last year, we just rode outdoors for a little bit, just kind of to catch up a little bit because I missed the year before and then missed. So I was just Robbie was just like, let's just ride outdoors for a while until, you know, October or whatever, and when it's time to start riding Supercross again. So I rode outdoors for probably a good, I would say 2 to 2.5 months or 3 months maybe, just outdoors. So got a kind of good feel of it again last year. But yeah, been a couple years since I've raced, so I'm ready to do that.
So are you going to race these Salt Lake rounds?
Um, it's still kind of up in the air right now.
Okay.
Like I'm physically like ready. Like I physically can. Like I feel fine. I don't know. It's just kind of up to obviously like I want to, but it's not just my decision. It's that
Yeah.
the team and what they think, and they might want me to just ride outdoors
Yeah.
and not worry about these last 2 rounds. They might want me to. So I'm, I mean, we're kind of starting to get down to the time to make a call. So I would say that I'll be hearing back kind of from them any day now. So yeah, we'll see whatever, you know, we decide to do. But either way, I'm fine. No, either it gives me more time to get ready for outdoors, or you know, I'm ready to go race Supercross again.
Have you gotten back on the Supercross track at least, or is that going to be a rush job?
Yeah, I haven't gotten back on Supercross at all
Oh,
yet.
okay.
So I felt like we already had a good base, and I was fine on a Supercross track. I felt like for the most part. So um that's I haven't been in a rush. We were gonna, like, now is about the time we would start riding Supercross again, going into like if I was gonna race. So that's kind of why I'm like,
Hmm.
like, what are you guys thinking? Like, what's the deal? So honestly should know very soon, you know,
Yeah.
what the deal is. But yeah, it's kind of their decision. A little bit I can give them my input, but at the end of the day, they're the team, and they're the bosses. So you know, we'll see what we come up with.
Okay. So now the bad news. Let's go back to Houston. Uh, you looked super bummed. The injury wasn't even that bad, right? Was this more, oh man, this season, points wise, I'm going to be bad here? Like you looked so bummed, and I don't think it was pain so much because it was just a collarbone, right? The injury wasn't that gnarly. It just seemed like a
Yeah,
normal injury.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was just a collarbone, which
Yeah.
just a collarbone, but for us like riders, that's like the most common thing. It was broken pretty bad. Like it was broken in 4 pieces and then flipped upside down. So like it was like it was a bad break, but it's still just a collarbone. Doesn't matter if it's broken that bad or you know, a clean break. It's still, you know, you can get it plated, and I've heard of guys riding like a couple weeks later, but that's like maybe that's like on, and then even then like actually, you know, doing well and then riding. And so it was, and I mean I knew I hit, and then I got back up and I kind of walked around, was kind of shaking it off, and I felt just a little bit of like you know, just some kind of like, it was just like a sharp kind of painish coming from here. And I was like, like, it's okay. I bet I just, like whacked myself with my helmet, just like pinched my skin or something. Maybe I cut myself. I'm fine. And then I just did kind of a shoulder, like a shoulder roll like that. And I felt the bones grind together. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, cause my adrenaline was obviously still going. So like, it didn't even hurt. Like, I just felt the bones grind together, and that's a pretty significant feel. Like, if you feel that, like, it's not good. So I felt that, and I was just like, wow, just like, and then immediately, like, I'm walking off the track, and I'm already just my mind's going a million miles an hour. Okay, is it a collarbone? It feels like it has to be a collarbone. It feels like a collarbone. Like, I can't see it. I can't see if it's like poking out the skin or whatever. How bad is it broken? Let's go to the Aztec rig or the Alpine Star rig. Let's see what they say. Should I get a plate? Like, all of that was just already just cranking in my mind for like the 5-minute walk or whatever back to the medic rig. My mind was just going crazy. And I was like, no, it's not, maybe it's not broke. Maybe it's not broke. And then that's like, obviously you're always like, oh, like, maybe it's not broke. Maybe it's, and then I took my shirt off, and I couldn't really see the bump because it was like right here, like right, my helmet just got it, I'm pretty sure. But I just looked at the medic crew, and I was like, is it broke? And they're like, yeah, it's broke. And I was like, oh, and then I was like 100% it's broke. And they're like, well, no. And then they ran the little x-ray machine over it, and it's not good quality, but they were like, yeah, it's definitely broke. And I was like, then it was just, I just broken. I was just, yeah, I don't even know. I was I didn't even want to go back to the rig and even show I was just so like embarrassed. I felt so bad just for everybody. I felt like horrible, like myself, but I feel like I felt like I just let a bunch of people down again. Like, just, man, like, if you've gone through injuries, like, the feel, like, just, the feeling of feeling like, and then then like the doubt comes in, like, oh, can I, like, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Like, there was a lot of that going on, but I'm back to good now. And obviously it still sucks, it's, and the past, the past couple injuries were like kind of season ender injuries, like bigger ones. It sucks so bad to lose something over such a just like a pointless bone. Like, collarbones are so stupid. Like, and it sucks that to lose a championship. I mean, it was still early in the season, but obviously take myself out of the championship, I guess, over something as simple, like, in a dirt bike rider's mind, as simple as broken collarbone. So that's what was just like, man, like, injury again, but just something stupid. Just like, the crash wasn't even that bad, it just, everything happened the way it shouldn't have, like, just happened wrong. So is what it is. But yeah, I'm ready to go race outdoors now, I guess.
Well, that's the sense I got. Like, so we're watching on the big screen to try to study, like, is it just the bike? Like, why is he not going back to the bike? Is he hurt that bad? And it didn't seem like you were in excruciating pain. You were able to walk off, no problem. But you could sense like oh no, I might have just ended it over something dumb. It seemed like it was more of like a mental bummer than it was like physical pain.
Yeah, it didn't even hurt until later that night, after, like, I mean, maybe not even a couple hours later, when the adrenaline wore off, and it started to swell, and started to like pull the bones and stuff, and it didn't even hurt till then. I was honestly, the pain, like, I just knew right away that, yeah, those are bones touching together and not how they're supposed to. Like, that's not good. And then I didn't even care about the pain. Like, and I mean, it hurt later, but it wasn't even about the pain. I was just like, yep, like, with the schedule right now, even if you break a collarbone or whatever, like, you in 1 week you miss 3 races, you're out. Like, so even if I came back right away, I would have literally had a week to come back before the next 3 races. So if I would have taken 2 weeks off at like maximum, if you can tolerate the pain, take 2 weeks off. Like it's still like, I mean, I would have missed 3 races. So I mean, it was just kind of sunk in right there that with the schedule, like if you get hurt, like it's probably not looking good. And that's just kind of what I was already processing in my brain as I was walking off the track. And I was just like, just no, like, come on, like really, like that, just, so, oh well. But yeah, I mean, it sucks, but gonna see what we can do outdoors, really.
So you were not trying the hero ride. You were not trying to get it fixed Monday and try to come back for Indy. Was that ever, maybe Saturday you're running all those scenarios to your mind, but past that, did you ever really try to come back for Indy?
No, I mean, well, it was a thought, and it was like, okay, if it's a clean break, if it's a hairline fracture, if it's a this or that, but then we were like, we'll see after surgery what the doctor says. And the doctor got in there the next morning and he was like, dude, like it was bad. He was like, it wouldn't have even healed. It wouldn't have even healed unless you did surgery. Like it was in 4 pieces. One of the big pieces was like halfway upside down to the side, like poking. It wasn't good. It was like, I would tell you that to maybe consider, racing, if it was just a clean break and we plated it and that's it. But he's like, it's pretty bad. Like just because each break, the vibration too, like he, like a week and a half later or whatever, like before the next race, I went into a doctor and I was like, what do you think? Like, obviously I was not, it still hurt. I was like, I don't think there's any way. And, but I was like, I just want you to tell me like what you think. And he was like, he just took his finger and just went like this, like just tapped on it. Like not even that hard, but just, and I was like, did one of those. And he was like, yeah. And you want to go race. And I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, I just needed you to tell me that, like that's basically what I needed was just, okay, like, no, it's not going to happen. Just with the more breaks, it's just like the vibration, the more breaks you have, obviously the more vibration and the more pain is going to be in it. Yeah. So he was like, if it was one break, you might be able to tolerate it. And, the plate is going to hold it in place well enough. But he was like, with that many breaks, the plate will still hold it most likely, but it was broken in like some smaller pieces. So he was like, a weird move or something like could upset those smaller pieces and just re-break it. Like it doesn't calcify enough in, a week or 2 weeks. So he was like, it's no, like it's not going to happen. And after I missed one race, I missed obviously that night. And then if I wasn't better in a week, I was going to miss another one. And then you're over by then. So that's what, after I missed the first race, I was like the first race of the next stop, I was like, it's done. So
you mentioned also the doubt that you got to overcome. I think you have this aura of like a guy that's super confident in himself, but I feel like even with the ACL coming back at the beginning of last year, that you even kind of admitted that you don't hop right on the bike and immediately think, I'm going to win every race. And I don't know if you're thinking that going into outdoors. So is that a bit of a struggle? I think your aura, or what people think about you, I don't know, is accurate. I think when you're coming back from injuries, have doubts just like everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, there's just like, there's a lot, as a rider and as a racer, you come back and you're like, okay, like if you've won races before and stuff, you're like, okay, I should be there. Like that's where I belong. But it's hard to fully, like be confident and assured in that until you do it again, like until you do win a race. And then like, I mean, we kind of saw the first year that Cooper won a championship. You remember when he won at Anaheim, like 2 or 3, when he beat Ken, and then that like lit a fire in him. He's all right, like game that's what that's what happens. It's like, man, you've had a couple bad years or a couple of this, or you get hurt, and then you get that first win, or you get that first podium or whatever it is, the result that you're like looking for, you get that, and then you're like, all right,
yeah,
like, all right, like game on. Like now it's like go, like now it's on. So that's,
but until that happens, you're like,
yeah, well, I mean, it's not like you're you just are waiting for, you're just like, that's where I need to be. Like that's where I want to be. I'm not going to be happy until I get to there, because like, obviously I was happy with that podium at the first race, and I should have had another podium if I wouldn't have took me and Hampshire out in the second race. But just like, until you get that win, I was still going to be, even though, you know, would have been up there in points. If I figured if I just would have passed Hampshire that second race, I would have had the points lead. So like, even if I would have been in the point, it would have been like, still like, want that win, like need that win. That's just kind of, you know, whatever it is, the result that you're looking for, that you did the year before, you know, see yourself, I should be there. You're kind of just like, each race that goes by that you don't, you're kind of just like, well, like, come on, like, you need to, you know, need to get it together type of thing. So you're just kind of waiting on yourself, honestly. So,
you know, Cooper told me when Cooper Webb's a great example. He had 2 bad years in the 450s. And I had asked him, like, did you ever start to wonder if you're going to get it back? And he's like, I went back to the USGP in Charlotte, which you were in, by the way. And he's like, I beat Hurlings that day. And he's like, I just kept going back to saying, if I could beat that guy, I must have something. I must be, someday I'm going to get it back. Do you have certain marks like that where you're like, okay, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure? Because he had that one specific race. Do you have things in the back of your mind to keep that light on?
yeah, even just my whole 2019 year,
Yeah.
like where
Yep.
I lost one race until I tore my ACL. Like that, like, I know I can be that guy. Like,
yeah.
That's just that level of confidence and that level of just basically just badass that I was that year. Like I was confident in myself. I would line up on the gate. And I remember it was Indy, whenever I went down in the first turn and got ran over, like still got like 4th or something in the heat race. But I had a bad gate pick for the main. Rut was all screwed up out front of the gate. And my whole team was all like, don't pick that rut. Like there's a reason it was left. Like there's a reason it was left open. Don't pick it. Don't. And I was like, I got it. Like, chill. Like, even Ollie and the guys, like, and I was like, no, it's fine. Whole shot one. Like that just, but that's just like that level of confidence, that level of just like, I'm the man type of feeling. Like, it was showing that whole year just through my riding. So it's like that's kind of what I go back to. Like, yeah, I can be that guy. Or even more recent to Salt Lake last year, whenever I beat Ferrandis straight up both of those races, especially the second race where I passed him and won. That was like one of the best races of my life, basically. So there's a few times like that where I'm like, no, like I know I can do it. Like, I've done it. I know I can be there. Like, I just need to get there. And like, you know, so pretty similar to, I guess, what you know, Cooper was saying. So that's just how we work, I guess.
Whoa, hey, we interrupt this Austin Forkner interview for more information on Austin Forkner. As he said at the start of this interview, they would be deciding in the next couple of days. I did this interview on Tuesday evening, and here it is. Wednesday evening, Kawasaki announces that Forkner will not return for Supercross this year. He will not go to the Salt Lake City final rounds for his 250 Coast. Adam Cianciarulo, by the way, bummer for him. He is not ready to come back for Supercross either. So both Forkner and Cianciarulo will not be back until the start of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Get your tickets now, May 29th, Fox Raceway in Pala, California. That's a bummer there. Some good news, though. We've got great sponsors on the show. Does that make you feel any better about that? Go to Yoshimura-RD.com and check out their exhaust systems, the RS12. If you have a Kawasaki, maybe you're a fan of these guys. The RS12 exhaust system, big power gains, like 9% on a KX450. I don't understand how Kawai's muffler is leaving that much on the table. I can tell you, if you look at that muffler on the stock bike, it would be a lot on the table because that thing is big and bulky. The Yoshimura one looks cooler, it's lighter, and huge power gains, not just for Kawai's, but the RS12 available for a lot of other bikes. Big power gains with the already powerful Yamaha YZ250F. We love our hyphens. Go to Yoshimura-RD.com. And then go to mx-tech.com. Get your suspension dialed in with those folks. Another Kawasaki rider, Cade Clayson, making mains using the Lucky Fork and their national rear shock that is essentially works level, top of the line suspension products that you can get for your bike without being a factory rider. So go to mx-tech.com for the latest in technology and coatings for maximum performance and maintaining lightweight. Also, of course, this podcast brought to you by RacerX. Support our journalistic endeavors. Help us keep the lights on. Subscribe to the magazine. We'll give it to you print in the mailbox and New School Digital, where we essentially allow you to read every single thing in the magazine on our website. You can even do it right on your phone. However, you have to be a subscriber to be able to read that stuff. Consider it premium content, but we'll give you a bonus, an exclusive sticker sheet, lots of cool stuff to put on the back window of your truck or your motorcycle or your helmet, in your garage, wherever you put your stickers. The garage fridge, highly underrated. So for $30, we'll give you the magazine in the mail and access to it online. That's only $30 for the year. Think of what you spend on monthly subscriptions to other things that aren't nearly as cool as the stuff we do. Go to racerxonline.com/Weege, WEEEGE. Subscribe. I will get the credit. My reward, probably a sticker sheet. And also justlive.com, just on board. That's a new CBD product that we're endorsing now, and Travis Pastrana uses it, and I guarantee you that guy's got a lot more aches and pains than you, and he says it makes him feel better. Also better sleep, reduce stress, justlive.com. You know how it reduces my stress? Because of a discount code. When you go to justlive.com and order some of their CBD products, type in RacerX, lowercase, no spaces, just RACERX, and get 30% off your order at justlive.com. Now back to Austin Forkner, who at the time of this interview did not know if he was going to come back for Supercross or not. He is not. See you outdoors. Whoa, hey, we interrupt this Austin Forkner interview for more information on Austin Forkner. As he said at the start of this interview, they would be deciding in the next couple of days. I did this interview on Tuesday evening, and here it is. Wednesday evening, Kawasaki announces that Forkner will not return for Supercross this year. He will not go to the Salt Lake City final rounds for his 250 Coast. Adam Cianciarulo, by the way, bummer for him. He is not ready to come back for Supercross either. So both Forkner and Cianciarulo will not be back until the start of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Get your tickets now, May 29th, Fox Raceway in Pala, California. That's a bummer there. Some good news, though. We've got great sponsors on the show. Does that make you feel any better about that? Go to Yoshimura-RD.com and check out their exhaust systems, the RS12. If you have a Kawasaki, maybe you're a fan of these guys. The RS12 exhaust system, big power gains, like 9% on a KX450. I don't understand how Kawai's muffler is leaving that much on the table. I can tell you if you look at that muffler on the stock bike, it would be a lot on the table because that thing is big and bulky. The Yoshimura one looks cooler, it's lighter, and huge power gains, not just for Kawai's, but the RS12 available for a lot of other bikes. Big power gains with the already powerful Yamaha YZ250F. We love our hyphens. Go to Yoshimura-RD.com and then go to mx-tech.com. Get your suspension dialed in with those folks. Another Kawasaki rider, Cade Clayson, making mains using the Lucky Fork and their national rear shock that is essentially works level, top of the line suspension products that you can get for your bike without being a factory rider. So go to mx-tech.com for the latest in technology and coatings for maximum performance and maintaining lightweight. And also justlive.com, just on board. That's a new CBD product that we're endorsing now, and Travis Pastrana uses it, and I guarantee you that guy's got a lot more aches and pains than you, and he says it makes him feel better. Also better sleep, reduce stress, justlive.com. You know how it reduces my stress? Because of a discount code. When you go to justlive.com and order some of their CBD products, type in RacerX, lowercase, no spaces, just RACERX, and get 30% off your order at justlive.com. Now back to Austin Forkner, who at the time of this interview did not know if he was going to come back for Supercross or not. He is not. You know, this industry is weird, right? Like, you came in, you did so well that very first season outdoors. You're very good in Supercross, and then got better each year. And it was like, it's a matter of time. This guy will put it together. He'll win titles. Then the last couple of years hasn't worked out that way. You were missing half the races with outdoors. Does it suddenly change? Do you get fewer people hitting you up, trying to be your buddy? Do you notice little things? Because my gosh, you've seen the highs and the lows in a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, you definitely notice. You know, you're in it until you're not, and when you're not, you know, people forget about you real quick. It's that it's pretty crazy that like that the saying like you're only as good as your last race, like that's, I mean, that's, and they forget like the you know, the next race when the gate drops and you're not there, you know, who are you? You know, you don't matter per se anymore. Like you're not racing, and everybody's always about the next race, and if you're not in that next race, nobody cares. Like you're kind of, you know, both within and without the, like in and out of the industry, you know, people start to not care. And that's, I've seen both sides of it, like the good and the bad kind of. So that's just kind of part of it. That's just how people are, I guess. So it's
Have
just,
you
you just have to, just something to get used to, I guess. But now I'm aware of it, and I, you know, try not to. I've just learned with injuries and stuff, and with people talking, you have to not care what people say. Like basically, unless they're in your corner, they're in your circle, don't care what they say, and just move on, do your thing, and you know, hopefully prove everybody wrong. So that's kind of just my mindset the past couple of years, especially with dealing with injuries and stuff. That's just kind of the mindset I've had to put myself in.
I feel like you're kind of like that in general. Like with social media, I feel like you just put whatever you feel like putting on there. You're not shy about like, hey, here's my girlfriend, here's my personal life, here's what I'm doing. You don't seem to be too concerned with, am I going to get haters for this or lovers for this? You don't seem to care that much.
No, I mean, well, that's like you can't please everybody. Like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be anybody but myself. So I'm like, I don't, you know, I don't want to come off as the perfect, you know, the perfect person that everybody that does the best interviews and always says the right thing. Because if you like, that's, if you always say the right thing and you're always that person, like, is that who you really are, or is that somebody that you're portraying to be, you know? So like I'm just, you know, some people don't like me and some people do. Like that's, I'm 100% fine with that. I'm not trying to be everybody's favorite. Like that's okay. I don't expect to be like that. That's just life. Some people like you and some people don't. We have different opinions. We have different favorites. Like that's perfectly okay. So I just am myself. If people like that and they like me, then like that's awesome. That's great. And you know, clearly a lot of people do, but also clearly a lot of people don't. So it's okay. I'm not, you know, obviously, yeah, you want fans and everything. Like that's obviously, like everybody wants to have fans and stuff, but you know, I can't please everybody. I say one thing and I have a bunch of people saying, "Oh yes, that's why I love you. That's why you're my favorite rider." Yes, like, and then I say something else and everybody goes, "Oh, that's why I never liked this kid. See, this is why." So it like over the same thing. Like it'd be the same thing, and some people love it, some people hate it. So I just you know, that's kind of something that I learned whenever I came in, is that just, you're not going to please everybody. You might, you know, make a pass on somebody one race and everybody says, "Oh, that was so dirty," and then do the same thing the next race and people say that was a clean like it's just, people have their opinions. People are going to be people. They have every right to be. And I'm just, you know, I'm not going to try to make every single person happy. So I'm just going to be me, and that's all I can be, and that's all I want to be. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be anybody that I'm not. So that's who I am, and if people like it, then that's great.
That last outdoor season you did have, you got taken out like 2 weeks in a row. You got taken out by Troll Train at Southwick.
Yeah.
I don't want to say plus you're going to say took you out. We could at least say lines came together.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
I think both times we sent the pit reporter in and we gave you like 100 chances to talk trash on them, and you did not do it. You didn't say anything bad. You didn't make excuses. You didn't say the dude took me out. I feel like you were actually, I guess that's the way you actually felt. You didn't really get too nasty about either of those.
No, because well, I always put myself in that position. Would I have done the same thing, you know, if I'm going for a win or something? There's a difference between, you know, some racing incidents and some just, that was just dirty. Like, and obviously some of the dirty stuff, I'll, you know, that I don't think that was a, you know, a great pass or whatever. But some of the instances, like I'm hard on myself in that way. I don't make up excuses for, or, you know, I don't make up excuses. I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, Plessinger hit me, and yeah, Martin took me out. That wouldn't have happened if I was 5 seconds in front of them. That wouldn't have happened if I hadn't went outside before that table at Redbud. Like, that's my fault. If I would have, been 2 seconds, 3 seconds in front of Amart at Southwick, that wouldn't have happened. So that's what I just kind of say that and move on, and it's like, I've made aggressive passes on people before, and I expect aggressive passes to be made on me and for me to make them on other people. So I don't get super upset about that stuff. I mean, there's obviously the aggressive passes, and I've ridden with some I've had, championship battles with Ferrandez and with Osborne, some pretty aggressive riding guys. So I've kind of gotten used to being, pushed around a little bit. And so I've just chalked it up to like, hey man, like, look, if you don't want to get pushed around, then you need to be, beat everybody, be out front to where they can't push you around. Like, they can't catch you, so that's, I just don't really make excuses. I just, I in that way, I'm just hard on myself instead of being all, that guy took me out, whatever. I'm kind of hard on myself in that way, just saying, you know what, you don't want to get taken out, then don't let them catch you.
What is your take on the Hampshire pass at round 2? What did happen there?
Man, I went into that rhythm section, and he messed up. He didn't get that 3 in, or we were doing different rhythms, and I hit the 3, and then I hit the second 3, and I saw how close I was to him, and I was like I just, my visual, my perception or whatever on that was just off, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump in, and we're gonna go into the corner at the same time, and he's just gonna have nowhere to go, and I'm just gonna pinch him off. We jumped in, and as soon as I like landed and tripled in, and I was in the air about to land, and he was already almost to the apex, and I was like, oh no. I was like, my perception, my just how I thought like this was gonna go didn't happen like that. It like, I jumped in, and I knew it when I was in the air. I was like, but I was already committed. I was like, if I jump in and slam on the brakes right now and he cuts down like he was going to, I would have hit, and I probably would have high sided on his back wheel or something. So I was like, there's going to be contact, but I'm like, we'll see. Like, we'll see. I jumped in, and I was already there, and I was already committed, and I jumped in, and I like scrubbed and stayed low. So I was like, I can't stop. Like, I'm committed now. So let's see what happens. And we went in, and we hit, and he fell on me, and I kind of caught myself, but then I just fell anyway. So it was my fault. Like, I never said it was anybody else's fault. It was my fault. It was just a mistake on my part for just visually. I thought we were going to go in, and I thought I was going to be closer jumping in, because it looked like I caught him a lot in the rhythm section. I thought I was going to be closer. Didn't work out that way. So it was just a racing thing. I'm sure he has probably a little bit of a different take on it, but you always do when you're the take out person versus the taken out person. You're always going to have a little bit of a different take on it. But that's my take.
When you went down the injury, there's like 3 years in a row that you maybe could have, should have, would have won a title. At least this year you would have been in it. We don't know. It wasn't right down to the end. But look, you had success in amateur. You had success immediately as a pro. You were like following the perfect staircase to success. And now there's a lot of these weirdo guys, like underdogs that people didn't see coming, who are really succeeding. Do you feel that pressure yourself of like, man, I'm supposed to win. I'm supposed to deliver for this person or that person or the team or the sponsor or whatever. Do you feel that gravity when it doesn't work out, maybe more so than other riders who probably didn't even expect to win in the first place or even be in this position?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that bit of extra pressure as like, hey, like we expect you to win a championship, like that type of. And I mean, every team that signs a rider, like a lot of the time, if you're on a top team, they're signing you because they expect results. Like, I mean, most of the time they sign you wanting, expecting, hoping for a championship out of you. Like, and that's my case. I got signed, relatively young as an amateur, like 16 or 17 or whatever. with that in mind. Like, that's why they got me early, because they thought I was good and they thought that I should be winning championships. So that was, that's obviously a disappointment that I haven't won one. So there is a little bit of that extra pressure where sometimes I do get, I've heard some guys say, it was, some guys is talking to him, like, compared to me, like through amateurs, I was always had that extra pressure on me, and going to pro, my first couple years pro, I had so much like pressure on me to do good. We signed, you were the kid, you were the guy that came out of, that year's group of amateurs going pro, whatever. Like, we signed you, like we picked you. And so I've had guys be like, man, like, I didn't envy that part, like of you, like, guys that I race as amateurs, that maybe, that I beat, like, I've had some tell me like, hey, I didn't envy that part so much, like having all that pressure going to pro, because you already put pressure on yourself. You already have, going pro is going pro. Like, it's a pretty, big step. So I already have that much, and then just the extra pressure. So I've had guys tell me that. But that's, if I didn't want that pressure, I shouldn't have been a good amateur rider, like that's what got me a ride. That's what got me to where I am. So, it is what it is. Just, it's just something that I guess learned to deal with, at a younger age, and whether that helps you or hurts you because you've been dealing with pressure for so long, like, I don't know, but, is what it is. But I definitely, there is that part of it that's kind of like, at times it's like, and even now looking back on some amateur stuff and how important I thought Loretta's was, or those amateur races, I look back, and they are because winning those races is what gets you. They are important. But I remember, like, those races were just a week of just stress, just me, just, okay, I did good that. Okay, when's my next race? Okay, like, just basically a week of every race day, just like stressful, like pushing, like wanting to win, wanting to, like, all that stuff that goes on just one day that we deal with. I mean, like, one day usually per week that we deal with racing pro. That was just a week long through amateurs. So like, that was something that now looking back, I wish I could have enjoyed a little bit more. That's like one of the biggest things. Is like, I wish I could have done some of the things, gone and rode boats up the creek more, at Loretta's, or just enjoyed it a little bit more, seeing as just the different level of from amateurs to pro. Like, you think, like, as an amateur, like, oh, I have to win this race, or I'm not gonna go pro, I'm not gonna get, and like, I mean, that's not always the case, but that's just the way you think as an amateur, trying to get a pro ride. You're put so much pressure on yourself, and that's where I was. So I could definitely see, that side of it.
So when you do your team, are they still all cool with it? Because I think the perception on the outside is like teams like yell at riders like football coaches do. And what I see is that almost never happens. So your people around, you're not just Mitch Payton, but even like Robbie or your parents, whatever. Like, how are they now that this season, at least in Supercross, they're going to work out? Are they like, bummer, or are they actually like mad? How does that work?
No, I mean, they're not obviously they're upset, but
Yeah.
they don't need to be, upset about me. I mean, I'm the one that's like, losing, races, losing money, losing all these things. So, anytime somebody, which is not really, is hardly ever that somebody's actually like mad at me for getting hurt. Like, oh, you're mad at me? Like, how do you think that this makes me feel? Like, I feel horrible. Like there's always just that, like, all the teams and stuff. Obviously, like, we work as a team. So if I lose, or if I get hurt or whatever, everybody's bummed. But at the end of the day, all these teams, like, we're like, if I get hurt this year, they're still a team, they can move on, I mean, most likely everybody's still got their jobs and everything. Like, I'm us riders are the ones that we have everything to lose, like the teams. I mean, most likely, whether you win a championship or not this year, the team is going to be around next year. The guys are still going to have their jobs, everything's going to be okay. But you know, if you don't win a championship this year, you know, you might not get signed again. That you might be without a job next year. So we as riders, we have, you know, we have the pressure. We have the, you know, if anybody's mad at, like, there's not really any time when anybody's actually been mad at me. I mean, they've obviously been upset, and maybe they've been mad and just not said anything to me, because like that's just my take on it. It's just like, oh, like we, I mean, as riders, I feel like we take a lot of the risks, obviously. And obviously it is a lot of money, like to back a team and to have a team. So I'm not trying to, like, you know, undersell teams, but just as riders, you know, I feel like we take a lot of the risks. And when we get hurt, you know, it's our bodies, you know, like obviously it's the teams and everything, you know, everybody's bummed, but it's just like, I've really never had anybody yell at me because I got hurt, because I did bad, because they don't need to, you know. I'm obviously, I wanted, you don't think I wanted to win? Like, you don't,
Yeah.
I was trying, like, I'm sorry I made a mistake. I'm sorry I went down. I'm sorry I got hurt, whatever the case may be. But like, look, like I'm trying, like I'm like, you know, so nobody's really ever had to yell at me. Maybe they do with other riders, because maybe some riders are like that. But if somebody yells at me, they're not going to say anything that I haven't already told myself 50 times. You know, why'd you make that pass there? Why'd you think that was a good idea? Yeah, no, I've been asking myself that since I pulled off the track. So it's like you don't need to, you don't need to ask, you don't need to tell me. I've already been telling myself what a stupid move that was, or why'd I do that, or what I could have done different. So, but yeah, rarely ever does, at least in with me, I've really never been yelled at for getting hurt. It's kind of just, you know, everybody's just generally disappointed usually.
Our last topic here, and then we'll wrap this up. Like, was there a trajectory at all this year? Did you know what your next year was going to be, like 450, 250? And then has this changed that, or did you not even necessarily have next year planned out when this year began?
It it did, I think, changed a little bit, because obviously this was supposed to be my last year in the 250 class. I was supposed to point out this year. But now I'm not going to. So that opens the door for possibly another 250 year. So I don't think we've worked out the details of that yet, but I think it will probably adjust a little bit. And especially like, you know, if I do another year in the 250 class, you know, at this point with 450 rides, or you know, just with rides in general, I mean, anytime you can continue to ride for a top team another year, whether it's 250 or 450, that's a little bit of success just in that. Like, that's, you know, getting paid to ride your dirt bike another year, with just kind of how scarce rides are right now and stuff, like, is, especially in the 450 class, is another thing. And like, that's just another thing in itself. So you know, whatever, you know, we as a team decide to do in that, like, on that matter, you know, I'm continuing to get paid to ride my dirt bike. So that's what matters, and that's what I'll be most happy about, I guess.
Cool. And it sounds like for outdoors, you're not making any bold claims like, I got to get this done or anything like that. It sounds like you're just like, I just want to get back to racing them right now.
Yeah, like you actually, I've actually said this lately, is you start to, you know, you start to respect just racing whenever you don't do it. Like, I've missed so many races that, like, now I want to go race. And obviously I don't want to be a 10th place guy. Like, I want to be better than that. I know I can be better than that, but I'm just like, whenever, like, I get paid to race my dirt bike. Like, I don't really get paid. I mean, I do, but I don't get paid to ride my dirt bike. I get paid to race my dirt bike. So I feel like I haven't been doing my whole job for the past couple of years. You know, I missed out on racing. I missed out on, you know, like, just all that stuff, race wins, you know, bonuses, all that stuff for me, but also for the team and for everybody. You know, they're paying me to race and to win races. I can be the fastest guy at the test track during the week. That don't give me any bonus money. You know, they don't care about that. Like, they want you to be the fastest guy at the races. So that's kind of, you know, what I've been missing, and why I respect or want to be at the races more, is just because I want to do my job, you know?
Yeah, but you don't know how it's going to go. You're just going to see when you get there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to see when I get there. I haven't ridden outdoors in 2 years, so I don't really have any expectations. I know where in my mind I should be, which is obviously on the podium and or winning, but we'll just take it one race at a time. We'll see how it goes.